Alright guys, are you looking to, are you one of those people that's stuck against the Nelson bot on chess.com? Nelson's a very popular bot. He's at the roughly 1300 level, but because he's one of the ones that you see here in the left hand column, it means that people who aren't paid up subscribers can play against Nelson. Now Nelson is a weird one. Some people find him incredibly difficult. I've had lots of people comment. I've made a few videos about Nelson. A bunch of people commented saying, look, I've beaten all the other kind of intermediate bots, but for some reason there's something about Nelson that undoes you. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to play against Nelson with no help, and we're going to do it with the white pieces, we're going to do it with the black pieces, right? And I'm going to take my time and I'm going to show you step by step, move by move, how to unpick this annoying, supposedly South African bot. Okay, so here we are with the white pieces. So I think the Vienna is a really good approach for Nelson. Now, the one thing you need to know about Nelson, the main thing is that he will throw his queen out into the board and attack with his queen at the earliest opportunity. So for example, if I play knight to f3 here, he's going to bring his queen out pretty much somehow. But I think that knight c3 is a good one. There you go. Out comes the queen. Now, with the wayward queen attack, it's normally white doing it, white playing to queen to there. You're actually attacking this pawn, right? So what his idea was is that, yeah, this pawn is pinned, but that's not really the issue, right? So he's trying to, let's pretend this knight isn't here, he's trying to trick you into kind of kicking the queen with the knight, and then he grabs the pawn with check, okay? Or push the pawn to g3 to kick the queen, but now he gets the pawn with check, and there's an open diagonal, he wins the rook as well, okay? So that's his idea. So I would start with the Vienna, and now, is there an immediate threat? No. I mean, this pawn's pinned, but I can't move it. It's illegal. So what you should do now in the opening is develop. Control the board. So knight to f3 comes with tempo because it kicks the queen again. Now I have d4 or d3. That comes with another discovered attack on the queen. This is why you don't bring your queen out super early, okay? And this is, in a way, Nelson's strength, but at the same time, it's his soft spot as well. His queen's out on the board getting kicked around now. Should I play d3 or should I play d4? I think d4 is the right move for a couple of reasons. One is I have a tempo because the queen's being attacked, right? So I don't have to worry about pawn takes d4. The second thing is pawn to d3 blocks in this bishop. Okay, so I'm going to play pawn to d4 now. And now the queen's under attack and off she runs again. Now I have two attackers on this pawn. Right, and I have options. I also can develop my bishop with an attack on the queen again. So that's what I should do, right? Rather than capture and mess up the pawn structure in the middle, develop more pieces. Now the queen can't go on that diagonal. She's had to shoot all the way back here. Okay. Now what do we have? I mean, for example, knight d5. Very common move in all kinds of Vienna systems. So if the queen gets greedy, Nelson gets greedy and grabs the pawn, I have knight takes c7 with check and winning a rook as well. In fact, it might even be checkmate. Might even be checkmate. Let's have a go at that. Aha, see, so he's had to defend again. Now I can capture on e5, take this pawn. Nothing's actually been captured yet, but look, I've got three pieces out on the board. All he's got is this queen getting kicked from pillar to post. So, that's one idea. One idea is to capture the pawn. I can also capture with the knight, which is weird, having both my knights in my opponent's space. What's the most pressing and aggressive and unpleasant thing? Also c4 might be an idea, right? I would like to develop my bishop and just keep my progress moving towards castling. Am I concerned about pawn takes d4 and then knight takes? If I take with my knight, he's got f6, hasn't he? which is unpleasant. So yeah, I think taking with the pawn is appropriate. Okay, and now the queen has moved again. So the queen's not attacking anything, that's defended. I can drop my bishop back if I wish, that's one idea. The queen's got to defend this, remember, against the knight. So let's drop the bishop back again and harass her again. So she can't go on this diagonal, yeah, or this diagonal. They're both guarded. Now how about knight d4? If I play knight d4, what's she got? She does have these two actually, because I've blocked the bishop's attack. Blocked the bishop's control of that. There, and knight to e5. You know, this is just horrible. This is a horrible situation for Nelson. I've got a4 with the idea of bringing the bishop out. What's maximum evil? Kind of like a4. Yeah, I think that's evil enough. It is a two-move combo, so it's not the quickest move in the world, but let's bring the bishop out, harass the queen again. Okay, so we have a counter-attack with check. I think c3. c3 just means that he's got a queen under attack and a bishop under attack. How's he going to save both? Answer, he isn't. Okay, so that's a check. I can recapture with the knight, but that could drop this pawn, or I can recapture with the pawn. Let's recapture with the pawn. So we're now up a piece, and now he's just blundered his queen. Okay, so this is what Nelson will do. If you keep the pressure on, Nelson will blunder. That's not, you can take that to the bank. Okay, I'd like to take that pawn, but I can't because the knight's defending it. I have a knight under attack. So what are we going to do? Let's put the knight here and try and trade off. Let's trade off. Maybe I should have castled before that. Alright, so now I have an open file with my queen on it. I can't castle because it goes through check. That's slightly annoying, but I'm already in a winning position here. Okay, what are we going to do? I'm up a queen. Yeah, I'm up exactly a queen. All right. Got double pawns here. I'm kind of inclined to push e6, try and get him to capture there. If he doesn't, I'm going to take, and then he's done for. Okay, so capture on f7. King's in check. King has to move. And now, for your feature presentation. So, knight e5 comes with check, and then I can drop my knight back to here, okay, which blocks the bishop's path. I do realise that I have a hanging pawn. So that knight to there protects the pawn. Let's push the pawn. Okay, now this comes with check. If I put my queen here, it comes with check. Now the pawn can push forwards. Blocks the bishop. That's a plus for me. Alright, that's interesting. So he's managed to save his knight and block the check in one move. Didn't see that one. Alright, so let's push the pawn. Now I've blocked the bishop's diagonal. Right, that's just a free piece. Now it's blocked, so now I can castle. All good, all good. Right, let's try and trade rooks. Okay, I'm going to recapture with the queen, because my queen's much more mobile. Yeah, I've dropped a piece. I've dropped a pawn. Alright, let's put the rook on here. Take. This is a fork, comes with check and gets a pawn. Now I'm attacking the bishop and a pawn. Can't defend both. I mean, even if I traded my queen for the rook now, it's still a winning position. Okay, now this enables a fork from the knight. hits both rook and bishop. I'm not afraid of any checks. I've got my king and my rook, my important pieces, on dark squares. So we win the bish. Now this is another fork by the queen. Okay. So let's just guide this guy in now. Rook f1 now keeps the king away. And how to do this? Let's go here, threaten the rook, and also threaten the queen here. Alrighty. Check. Pawn forwards. Queen. He has to take. Check. And the way to win, I think rook here is just mate because the queen's got all of these, yeah? Now if I do rook here, he has got one square. So I'm going to shut him down. Queen here, now the pawn can't move because it's pinned. And now, that's not mate, he's got that. Rook here. And he's still got a pawn, you see, so there's no stalemate ideas. There we go, checkmate. Alright, so that is how to beat Nelson with the white pieces. Now let's do him again with the black pieces. You have to keep the pressure on, you have to allow his queen to fly out, right? So let's take the same kind of approach. I'm expecting the queen's going to come shooting out to here, right? So I'm not going to play my knight there preemptively. I'm going to bring my queen's knight out again, the Nimzovich defense. All right, and now again, we've got both knights out, right? Good control over the center. Remember what happened last time? We can now push a pawn, hit the queen again. Okay, I'm just going to hit the queen again. Not even going to think too hard about this, right? Now I'm going to hit the queen again with the knight. Moved again. Okay, now this pawn would be undefended if I moved the bishop. So, I've got a free pawn if I want it. I can push up. Let's push up with the idea of then bishop here. Okay, now if I put my bishop there, he can push on. Where does my knight want to go? I've got there at a push, but it's attacked twice, queen and bishop. I want to take a front foot position, so that's defended by my bishop. Okay. Now I can counterattack the queen, but if I do, he'll play d5, and then I've got a bishop under attack and a knight under attack. Right? We saw that in the last game. Don't do a counterattack if your counterattacking piece can be counterattacked itself. All right, knight's actually in trouble now. I can retreat here. Option B is to sack the knight, make the king move. I'm going to go for that, just for the hell of it. Hello. That's weird. Okay, I'm going to take the bishop. Okay, now he's taken the... So he's just given me a piece back. Why did he do that? Okay, let's grab this pawn with check. See, Nelson plays crazy moves. I'm going to move this pawn. I need to get this bishop out. Okay, that's just dropped a pawn. That's all right. Oh, with check. Okay, that's fine. Had this in my pocket anyway. Right, so now he's attacking my knight. Let's just drop the knight back. I'm not actually up in material at this point. So bishop fianchetto. If he wants to take, that's great by me. Right, now we can castle. I've also got this move. Hits the queen and the pawn behind it. I'd love to stop him castling. Yeah, he can't castle. He's already moved his king, so that's alright. Ho ho. Okay, I'm going to castle now. I'm going to centralise my rooks. Got 2 open files on A and B. Still have this idea. So, situation is, white's king cannot castle, right? So he may be slow getting his rooks into the game. So the idea now is you have to strike. Strike fast, strike hard. I've got rook e8, that's quite good. Yeah, I think it's good. This is fine. Okay, I'm going to capture with the pawn with check. Now look at my king. Look at my king. It's in a safe room now. All right. I still quite like this move. I want to play that. Now my bishop is kind of entombed as well, but may still play a role. Okay, I've got d5, hit the queen. Let's attack my knight and that, so no good. This pawn is undefended. Let's just snatch it off. First I'm checking that the knight can't move anywhere with an immediate threat. Okay, I'm actually only a pawn up right now, but I have a much safer king. If the rook takes my rook and queen recaptures, the queen's the only defender of that pawn, so I could lose that pawn. Not the biggest deal, to be honest. But let's trade rooks anyway. So this is one instance where it pays. Ooh, what? That was certainly should have recaptured with a rook. Now he's given up the open file. Okay, I'm gonna play. That's my first instinct. I try and teach, don't just automatically play the first move that comes into your head, particularly when you're winning. And I mean, I'm slightly up here. I'm 1 pawn up, that's all. I have the bishop pair. Nelson has a pair of knights. I need to activate my other rook. So I do think queen d7 is a good move. Okay, so I was attacking this pawn. Let's centralize the rook. Oh, that was just a blunder. So I'm now down in material. I now only have a bishop for that. So I'm going to try and sacrifice my spare pawn. Okay. That's fine, and now material is equal again. So I've got bishop now looking at this. Queen's defending that pawn there. How about queen there? Can I do that? And then that would be checkmate. So how does he stop that? He's going to have to move his rook across, is he? Queen across. I think I need to activate my bishop. I've got 5 pawns, 6 pawns to his 3. So he's got these 2 knights, slow pieces, and look how far away they are from my king, right? Miles away from the king. Is this an idea? Hit the queen there. The knights are guarding these squares. If I go there, it basically forces an exchange. Then I'd like to play my rook there and with a fork, but that's not doable. could play this. If pawn takes, I just take out the knight, and then I've got there. Okay, I'm going to try that. Right, he's going to have to take this with the knight, I think. Can't take with the queen. Yeah, exactly. Alright, so life's got a little bit simpler. So now my bishop can take here like that. That really improves the bishop. Need to be careful about any checkmate threats on the back. Okay, now he's attacking the bishop. What do I do? The queen has to defend this square. How about check? If I check the bishop there, king can't go there. Is he going to be forced into the corner? Then can I push my pawn forward? Oh, I don't know. Is it winning? I don't think it's winning. Check there. I mean, there's actually zero risk in playing that. I knew the next move. And I think my bishop's just got slightly better, if anything. And it gets the bishop out of attack. So, now what? The imbalance is on the board. He's only got 2 pawns, and they're at the wrong side. I've got 2 there, and I have another 4. So I've got a massive pawn majority on the king side. Now, his advantage is he's got 2 knights. But these are slow, short-range fighters. I have a lightning-quick bishop that can zip around the board. So the question is, how are we going to beat this guy? I could push a pawn up, right? If knight takes, I've got this, boom, which hits the knight and the king. Also undefends my bishop. Don't really want to push this pawn up. There's no real need for that. Let's try this. Let's have a go at that. Okay, you're attacking my queen. I see it. Queen here. Attacking this pawn. He's also attacking this pawn. Okay, so let's... Is that safe? I don't know. It looks kind of clunky. Okay, let's just drop the queen behind the pawns. Ain't no rush here. Ah! You devil. You took my pawn. Right, I'm taking yours. Hang on. Hang on a moment. Is that an issue? Or that? Not really. Okay, give me that pawn. You really do have to be careful against a lot of these bots in the endings. Okay, so the queen's coming after this pawn. The knights are now paired. So I want to defend my pawn. It is defended. My queen's defending it right now. Queen's also defending that. So, for example, I can't really push that pawn now because knight can just freely take. Because the queen's defending this guy. Slightly more complicated, this game, because I blundered my bishop, didn't I? Let's just play h5 and holding move, see what happens. Okay, queen attack, knight attacks queen. Let's counter attack. Still defending this pawn, still attacking that knight. Now he's coming after my pawn. Bishop back to here now. Attacks the knight, defends the pawn, pawn defends the bishop. Okay, let's go there. Now this looks like there should be something. Now he's moving his knights as far away from my king as he can, almost. Okay, so are you attacking my bishop or what? What is your intent? If I go queen here, I haven't got this checkmate because The queen is actually on that diagonal. If we traded queens, I think I'd actually be in a fairly good position, even with a bishop against 2 knights, because he's only got 1 pawn. Huh. How about queen here? Queen there is checkmate. So he can't take my bishop. Oh no, it's not mate. It's not checkmate, he's got that. And that's attacking my pawn. So I'm going to grab the knight. So he has now an extra knight, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 extra pawns, not counting these 2. So, staying off the light squares maybe. Or, if I go there, he must take with a queen. I take, king takes, king's there. The king is inside my pawn's box, so that's where the pawn is. You make a box with equal sides. If the king is inside it, the king can catch the pawn before it promotes. So let me push the pawn just quietly now. Right, I'm not scared of the queen. There's no good checks. Right, now, if I go here, queen takes, pawn takes, king takes pawn, I go there, he cannot stop me. I think that's winning. And he has to prevent my pawn from promoting. Alright, this is inconsequential now. And now there's nothing he can do, right? This is the problem with a knight in the endgame. Knights are so darn slow. Okay, queen here is a fork, wins the knight. Wins the knight with check. And now we are going to checkmate with queen and pawns. Okay, my king can come across and deal with this pawn. Okay, the pawn is dealt with. So now Nelson is stuck in these 4 squares. So what should we do? Queen and pawn mate or king and pawn? Let's do queen and pawns. Queen and king is too common. Right. We just need to be careful about checkmate, stalemates now. But we're okay until here. So this, remember, these are his 4 squares. Simple. Yeah, just use the pawn, put the king next to him, all done, job done. Wow, interesting one. So yeah, in that second game I screwed up a little bit, blundered a piece, but in the end won out. You can you just have to take your time with this bot, right? And remember, in the openings here, even if you're as black, maybe bring out the queen's knight first, whatever you do. Then queen comes flying out, you've got 2 knights on the board, and this is the general idea, right? You want to kick this queen around from pillar to post, right? Cause trouble. Here I even sacked a piece, but then so did he. So, you know, just approach it like, my opponent's slightly crazy, right? He loves to attack, but he's a bit nuts, and he's going to do some crazy stuff. And here already, we're in a very, very decent position, right? He's got no minor pieces out in the board. His king's been forced to move, you know. So definitely beatable, Nelson. You've just got to take your time. You've got to take the attitude that I'm going to allow my opponent to do his crazy stuff and screw up, because he will screw up. But he will only do that if you play solidly and keep your evil going, right? Just think, when that queen comes out, come on, queen. Come on, I'm going to kick you all around the park, right? And develop my pieces at the same time while making sure that my back is covered. And if you do that, 100%, I guarantee you, Nelson is beatable. All right, thank you for watching. That's how to beat Nelson as white and as black. There's my recommendations. Hope it helps. See you soon.